In 1943, on the forgotten island of Bougainville, a rusted tin box became a nightmare. It wasn't just metal, it was a silent weapon, changing the tide of war forever. This is the incredible true story of Captain Ethan Vance, the sniper known as Ghost. He dared to think beyond the battlefield, a true innovator in the art of war. Bougainville was a brutal crucible, a dense jungle where death lurked in every shadow. Marines faced an invisible enemy, Japanese forces melting into the unforgiving terrain. Our lines stalled, progress measured in inches, each step costing countless lives. Traditional tactics failed against their unseen precision and relentless ambushes. Hope dwindled as the jungle devoured men, sanity, and strategic advantage. But one man saw the battlefield differently, through eyes trained in a quieter world. Captain Ethan Vance hailed from New England, far from this humid, blood-soaked hell. There, among gears and intricate mechanisms, he learned the craft of watchmaking. His hands, now holding a rifle, once polished delicate metals with surgical precision. He possessed an extraordinary gift for observation, for seeing details others missed. This wasn't just a sniper, this was a mechanic, an artist of complex systems. Young Vance spent hours meticulously assembling gears, understanding every interaction. He mastered creating precise, intricate devices, a skill destined for a different purpose. That quiet world forged a mind capable of radical solutions in the chaos of war. His keen eye for structure and function would soon redefine what was possible. Yet even minds like Vance's found unexpected solace amidst the brutal chaos of war. That solace often came in the quiet company of Corporal James Rivera. Rivera, with his infectious grin and knack for gentle humor, was a rare and vital anchor. They sat together in a dusty canyon crevice, a brief, fragile moment of peace. Rivera sketched furiously, creating a funny caricature of their stern commanding officer. Vance, ever the meticulous observer, watched a tiny beetle meticulously navigate a loose rock. His silent gaze was a universe Rivera uniquely understood, a bond forged in shared quietude. Rivera chuckled softly. "Still lost in your own world, Vance? What grand discovery captivates you today?" Vance offered a faint smile. "Just observing nature's perfect engineering, James. Always something new to learn." Rivera nodded, his pencil pausing. "Yeah, some things just work, don't they? You and your machines, me and my silly drawings. Helps us survive, right?" Their shared understanding hung unspoken in the Kent's air, a silent pact against the surrounding despair. Then the world violently warped. A fleeting, almost imperceptible shadow shifted on the ridge high above them. Vance's honed instincts screamed a silent warning. Before he could possibly react, a blinding flash erupted from the distant rock face. The sharp crack of a sniper rifle echoed across the canyon, impossibly too late. Time slowed to an agonizing crawl. Rivera's pencil clattered, his half-finished caricature falling to the dust below. A crimson stain bloomed instantly on his fatigues, shockingly fast. His eyes widened, a sudden, profound understanding of his fate. He barely registered the pain, collapsing forward without uttering a sound. Corporal James Rivera, the man who truly understood Vance, was gone, just like that. His life extinguished. No roar of anguish escaped Vance's lips. Instead, a chilling, absolute silence descended upon him. His eyes, like high-speed cameras, meticulously recorded every single detail. The sniper's precise position, the bullet's exact trajectory, the subtle, telltale signs of a perfectly executed, brutal ambush. His brilliant mind, usually a realm of gears and circuits, now processed raw, searing grief and cold fury. A cold, unwavering resolve solidified deep within his very core. This revenge was not just for James. This was for every friend, every brave soldier, every precious life snuffed out meaninglessly by this unforgiving war. Vance would personally ensure such acts of cowardly brutality would never again catch them unawares. He would exact a terrible price. A very, very heavy, devastating price. Yet, despite this burning resolve, the immediate aftermath of Rivera's death brought only suffocating despair. Vance sat alone, lost in the personal abyss of his foxhole, haunted by unanswerable questions. The night offered no solace, just the crushing weight of grief and an overwhelming sense of utter helplessness. His fingers, numb and trembling, sought comfort in a familiar, dented shape. It was his father's old cigarette tin, a cherished memory. This small metal box, once a symbol of home, now felt like a relic from a life forever out of reach. He meticulously stripped away its faded, tattered paper label. Then, using damp earth and rough reeds, he began to scrub. Each abrasive rub against the tarnished surface was a desperate attempt to cleanse, to find some clarity in the chaos. The metallic sheen slowly emerged, glinting faintly in the dying light of the setting sun. A subtle, unexpected transformation. Suddenly, a final, brilliant ray pierced the twilight. It struck the polished tin, erupting in a dazzling, blinding flash. In that split second, something fundamental shifted within Vance's shattered mind. A frantic, audacious thought ignited. It wasn't just an idea. It was a terrifyingly simple, brilliantly destructive concept, a deadly trap born from desperation. He would turn an object of comfort into a harbinger of death, a silent, psychological weapon against their relentless enemy. The next morning, Vance presented his insane proposition to Captain Morrison. His eyes burned with an unsettling, urgent intensity. Morrison listened, his seasoned face creased with skepticism. He saw a man pushed to the brink, consumed by unbearable stress. "Vance," the captain began, his voice laced with concern. "Are you sure you're thinking clearly? This sounds reckless." But Vance was unwavering. He spoke of the enemy's meticulously drilled discipline, their ingrained predatory curiosity. He painted a vivid picture of their unwavering doctrine. No detail, however small or seemingly insignificant, would ever be overlooked. "They are hunters, Captain," Vance insisted, his voice low and firm. "They cannot resist the lure of a new, unknown signal." He argued that the Japanese High Command would demand investigation. Any perceived spy or new tactic demanded immediate scrutiny. This was not merely a random act, it was a carefully constructed psychological gambit, a mind game designed to exploit their weaknesses. Morrison saw the logic, chillingly clear behind the desperation. Vance wasn't broken, he was brilliantly, terrifyingly focused. A grudging respect replaced the captain's initial doubt. Vance had transformed his grief into a terrifying strategic edge. The deadly tin box was no longer a madman's delusion. It was a calculated risk, a desperate yet ingenious ray of hope. But hope, even in the jungle's embrace, was a fragile, fleeting thing. For every flicker of light Vance ignited, a deeper shadow lurked, patiently watching. This shadow wore the uniform of the Imperial Japanese Army. His name was Kenji Sato, a phantom, a legendary sniper. Kenji didn't just fight, he hunted with chilling, almost surgical precision. He was the one who had silenced Rivera, a ghost in the dense foliage. His camouflage was a second skin, blending seamlessly with the jungle's deceptive hues. Kenji moved like a whisper, his breath held, his rifle an extension of his cold will. Each shot was a final pronouncement delivered with ruthless, unwavering discipline. He waited, observed, and then, with lethal grace, he eliminated his target. Meanwhile, Vance's first crude experiment was born of raw, desperate ingenuity. He devised a simple pull-string system for his tin box, creating fleeting, brilliant flashes. A curious Japanese soldier, drawn by the sudden, unexpected spark, investigated. He paid the ultimate price for his fatal curiosity, disappearing into the jungle's embrace. The jungle erupted. Japanese artillery hammered Vance's previous position. They responded with a furious, deafening barrage, shaking the very earth. But Vance was already gone, a phantom of the shifting shadows, long before the shells fell. The enemy learned quickly. Random flashes soon lost their initial shocking sting. Vance understood his weapon needed to evolve, to become more insidious, more complex. He painstakingly sharpened the tin's edges, turning a simple container into a reflective tool. Shards of a broken rifle scope, salvaged and meticulously placed, multiplied the light's reach. They scattered rays in diverse, unpredictable patterns, confusing any watchful eye. He engineered a more sophisticated pulley system using tough jungle vines and sturdy branches. This allowed him to create rhythmic sequences of light, a silent, deadly Morse code. Each innovation was a step deeper into the luminous labyrinth, a testament to his resolve. Deep within their command post, perplexity and dread began to take root. Commander Hiroshi Tanaka, a seasoned veteran, found himself battling an unseen, intangible foe. Reports flooded in, whispers of spectral signals, flashes from nowhere spread among the ranks. Fear began to spread, a creeping vine through their disciplined yet increasingly rattled ranks. One soldier's diary captured their terror, his words trembling with raw, primal dread. "The Americans," it read, "are using devil magic. We cannot comprehend their methods. Flashes of light from nowhere, without sound. Only death follows in their wake." Captain Vance knew. Amidst the chaos of the jungle, one shadow loomed larger. A master strategist, Kenji Sato, mirrored Vance's own ruthless intellect. Sato represented the ultimate threat, a commander whose precision and cunning rivaled Vance's own desperate genius. The deadly tin boxes had shattered enemy morale, yet Sato's resilience remained unshaken. This was not merely combat, but a deadly chess match between two formidable minds. Vance understood Sato's disciplined nature. His military training demanded absolute adherence to orders. But Vance also saw Sato's insatiable curiosity, a thirst for critical intelligence. Vance crafted his most audacious plan, the Phantom HQ Gambit. It was a masterstroke of deception designed to exploit Sato's deepest instincts. Dozens of remote-controlled tin boxes were deployed. They emitted false signals, mimicking the radio traffic of a busy command center, a tantalizing beacon in the dense jungle. Vance's security detail then moved openly. Soldiers carried conspicuous radio equipment. They displayed maps, reinforcing the elaborate deception. Every movement was calculated. From his hidden vantage point, Kenji Sato watched. He recorded the signals. He analyzed the movements. His mind a battlefield of conflicting impulses. Military discipline screamed caution. His training dictated unwavering adherence to protocol, remaining unseen, unheard. Yet a more primal urge stirred. The intelligence mission, the critical task of pinpointing the enemy HQ, gnawed at him. It was a prize too great to ignore. The lure of the Phantom HQ was irresistible. Sato wrestled with his conscience. The internal battle raged, fierce and silent. Finally, Curiosity and duty won. He moved, exposing himself for just a fleeting moment, a tiny window, a calculated risk for a potentially decisive gain. Miles away, Vance lay prone, his rifle a cold extension of his will. His heart beat slow and steady, his breath shallow and controlled. He calculated the wind's whisper, the immense distance, the bullet's inevitable arc, every factor meticulously weighed. This was the moment. His finger, a feather-light touch on the trigger. Time itself seemed to slow, stretched thin. The world narrowed to the crosshairs, the target. The shot cracked, a sharp punctuation in the jungle symphony. The bullet soared, a silent messenger of fate, cutting through the humid air. It tore through dense foliage, a blur of motion. Then, a sickening thud. Sato's rifle clattered to the earth. His body crumpled, succumbing to the unseen force. A profound silence followed. Vance did not celebrate. No exultation, no cheer, only a quiet, heavy victory, devoid of triumph's roar. The Japanese, however, were not static targets. They adapted, learning to ignore the flickering lights. Major Yamamoto, infuriated by the relentless harassment, issued a stern decree. No soldier was to investigate any light signal. Vance's brilliant light trick had lost its edge. He had pushed his adversary to adapt. Now it was time for a new escalation, a fresh terror. The jungle's shadows had been haunted by silent death. Then came the phantom lights. But Vance, ever the innovator, already envisioned the next stage of his ghostly war. He turned his attention from light to sound, transforming his humble tin cans once more. These were no longer just reflectors. They became intricate resonance boxes designed to deceive. Inside, small pebbles, bits of metal scrap, and dried leaves created a symphony of fear. Strategically placed, these modified cans produced subtle rattles, faint vibrations, and rustling sounds. They mimicked the movement of unseen figures, the faint sounds of an approaching patrol. Vance developed a more elaborate wire system, a network of invisible threads through the dense jungle. This allowed him to manipulate the sounds, making them appear to shift from one tree to another. The illusion was terrifyingly effective. Multiple phantom soldiers, always just out of sight. The Japanese soldiers, already on edge, descended into a new realm of paranoia. They heard footsteps where there were none, rustling leaves that betrayed no presence. Fear gnawed at their resolve. The enemy was invisible, yet undeniably present through sound. One night, a persistent, eerie rattling echoed from a thick bush. A lone Japanese soldier investigated. He cautiously approached, rifle raised, his heart pounding in the suffocating silence. Then, a flash, a crack, and silence again. Another victim of Vance's silent, unseen warfare. The tally mounted, a grim testament to Vance's genius. In the ensuing weeks, 112 enemies fell. This included 57 highly trained snipers and scouts, and 19 crucial officers. Major Yamamoto's diary entries painted a picture of spiraling despair. His men were breaking. "We fight ghosts," he wrote, his hand trembling. "Sounds from nowhere. Bougainville has become a hell of invisible groans, unseen whispers, and death that comes without warning." Yamamoto's rifle clattered to the earth. His body crumpled, succumbing to the unseen force. A profound silence followed. Vance did not celebrate. No exultation, no cheer, only a quiet, heavy victory devoid of triumph's roar. Major Yamamoto's diary entries painted a picture of spiraling despair. His men were breaking. "We fight ghosts," he wrote, his hand trembling. "Sounds from nowhere. Bougainville has become a hell of invisible groans, unseen whispers, and death that comes without warning. The war ended, but Captain Vance's battle was far from over. The quiet, relentless pressure he exerted on the enemy now weighed heavily on his own spirit. He found himself grappling with combat exhaustion, a silent foe that haunted the minds of many returning soldiers. Sleepless nights were filled with phantom sounds and the faces of those he had outmaneuvered. Yet, Vance sought solace in purpose. He channeled his complex experiences into meticulous reports, dissecting psychological warfare through the senses. His writings explored the profound impacts of applied physical psychology, a term he coined to describe the manipulation of perception and environment. He articulated how simple stimuli could create overwhelming fear, turning the battlefield into a theater of the mind. Vance's insights were revolutionary. Soon, he was invited to lecture at prestigious military academies, sharing his unconventional methods. He taught aspiring strategists to think beyond bullets and bombs, to wield the unseen power of perception. Future snipers, inspired by Vance, adopted and evolved his techniques in their own campaigns, creating masterful diversions from everyday objects. A rattling can became a troop movement, a distant whisper a flanking maneuver. The enemy's own imagination became their greatest threat. Years later, Vance retired to a quiet life in New England. He opened a small shop, repairing antique clocks and delicate mechanical devices. His hands, once crafting intricate psychological traps, now meticulously restored the precise movements of gears and springs. He found joy in the tangible, the logical order of clockwork. Yet his core philosophy remained. To young apprentices, he constantly emphasized creative thinking and sharp observation regardless of the task. Vance would often impart his timeless wisdom. It's not about what you have, it's about how you use it. In a rare 1978 interview, his voice was measured, his gaze distant, reflecting a lifetime of complex choices. He spoke of the brutal necessity of war, acknowledging the grim realities that demanded unconventional tactics. But a profound melancholy laced his words as he balanced this with the pride in human ingenuity. "I turned human curiosity, human fear into a weapon," Vance admitted, his voice barely a whisper. "And that truth, it never truly leaves you." His words carried the weight of a heavy burden, a moral dilemma etched deep within his soul. This quiet admission offered a profound glimpse into the human cost of even the most ingenious victories. Captain Vance, the master of the unseen war, carried the invisible scars of his unparalleled success. Today, Captain Vance's legacy endures. It whispers from museum artifacts. His Springfield rifle stands proudly displayed. Beside it, a simple old tobacco tin. This humble tin, now partially polished, holds a profound tale. It represents a turning point in military history, a testament to human ingenuity. Various improved versions of that tin accompany it. They illustrate evolving tactics. Vance's methods resonate powerfully today, especially in modern information warfare. Deception and psychological elements remain crucial. They determine victory or defeat. Captain Ethan "Ghost" Vance left an indelible mark. His ingenuity saved lives. It also irrevocably changed the course of war. His story offers 3 vital lessons. First, creativity thrives amid limitation. Difficulties often birth unique solutions. These are often the most effective ones. Never underestimate resourcefulness. Second, psychology decides every outcome. Understanding your opponent's mind is key. Exploit what they cannot ignore. This outweighs advanced equipment. It always has. Third, observe carefully before you act. Grasp the problem's true nature. Understand their reactions first. This is the first step toward strategic solutions. Captain Ethan Ghost Vance's story transcends war. It champions the extraordinary power of human thought. In every aspect of life, dare to change the game. Look at problems from a fresh perspective. Transform ordinary objects into powerful, unseen tools. You will uncover limitless possibilities then. If you feel inspired by this breakthrough spirit, do this. Subscribe to our channel right now. Don't miss future stories about creativity, courage, and wisdom. Wisdom that changes the world. Share this video widely. Share it with those needing a reminder. Sometimes the craziest idea is truly the best answer.